Hi, I'm Tim Moss with Custom Guns, Ammo, and Repairs. What we're looking at today is a Scout CVA V2, and we get it in 4570. What we do is we bore the end out, thread it, put in a breech plug, and we have a smokeless muzzleloader. So this is a low cost. When I say low cost, it's still going to run around $1,000, but it's a lot less expense than if you take a Paramount or another one of those guns and convert them over. So this comes with the CVA barrel. You know, we don't need to change the barrel. All we need to do is install threads and a breech plug, and you have a good solid 300-yard gun. Some of these guns are shooting so accurate that I wouldn't have a problem shooting at 500 yards if I was shooting at a deer. But most of them are good to at least 300 yards. Every once in a while we get an exceptional barrel, and it groups like a half inch or so, and with something like that I wouldn't hesitate to shoot out to 500 yards. It's got the energy to take animals that far. So we're going to shoot this a little bit and see what kind of group we can get. So we did a 3-shot group, came down to look at the target. A little disappointed, you know, the first 2 shots are touching, which is great, and now we had one that was a little bit of a flyer. So lots of times when guys call, they want to know, you know, what is my gun going to group if I have one of these guns done, and we get them to group under ½ an inch. So this is not an acceptable group for us. So what we do with this gun, this was the first time we shot this gun. I just finished it this morning. So reason I want to use it is because it's got the camouflage finish, and I don't come across those very often. Usually they're in a black stock and a stainless steel. So anyhow, this group's not to our satisfaction. We won't send this gun out. So what I'm going to do is I'll take it back into the shop, and we're going to check everything out, so see why did it group, you know, 1.5 inches, 1 3/8 instead of our normal under 1 inch. So some of the guns, if they group under 1 inch, you know, we're going to send them out. And then we have some customers, they want theirs grouping tighter than that, which some of the barrels come through when they do. You know, we'll get some that will group a ½ inch. We charge a little bit extra for those because they're kind of rare, but we have guys that's what they want, and that's what we send out. But the group that we have here, it's 1 3/8 inches. We would not send that out to anyone. Well, hey guys, we're back at the range. You saw in the video I wasn't happy how this gun grouped. So we took it back to the shop, we took the scope off, we Loctited the base, redid the rings, tried taking away any kind of variables, and we put the factory muzzle brake back on. So we're back out here, and there's really not that much else that could be wrong with this gun. You know, it's either you know, it was a faulty issue with the brake, or it's just going to be a bad barrel, which that hardly ever happens. So it was grouping, I think it was about 1.25 inches. It's several weeks later since we've been out. We've been really busy with all the orders. So we're finally back out, and we're going to give it another try, and I'm pretty sure that we have it fixed now. When I got it in, I checked the torque on the screws, and some of them weren't nearly torqued to spec, even though you know, we check these. Sometimes you get to shooting, and you know, a hint when you guys mount your scopes, when you have these Picatinny style rails, don't mount it towards the front of the slot, because your scope will march back on this large recoil. You know, this is pretty big recoil, so it'll march back, and then it'll affect your accuracy. So when you put your scope on, make sure that you set it on in the slot and then push it all the way towards the back. So it's already as far back as it can go, and it can't go back any further under this heavy recoil. So you know, that could have been a possibility. I know for sure that some of the screws, 2 of the 4 screws weren't torqued to spec. I mean, they were really light. So we've got that changed. We got it Loctited on, not the red Loctite, by the way. You know, make sure you use blue Loctite on your screws on your scopes. But we're going to take some shots and see what our little tweaking did, and if this thing's ready for shipment. Okay, so we got our 3 shots in. You know, we weren't happy with that rifle the way that it grouped the first time. So we tweaked a few things. We put the factory brake back on. We just tried eliminating some variables that could be causing a problem. And what we got is this group right here. So this is a nice tight group, especially for a gun that has barely ever been shot. So that barrel's not broken in yet. And we have 0.67 of an inch group here, well under an inch. It's under 3/4, and as that barrel settles in, you know, over the next 100 shots or so, that's just going to get better. So not every gun that we shoot does this immediately. I mean, that's a really good group. But every gun that we let go, it's got to be grouping an inch or better, and as you shoot it in, you'll see that group closing up. So most of our guns that people have had the time to break in the barrel, they're shooting a 1/2 inch group, but we guarantee they're going to be grouping better than an inch or better before we ship them out, or we won't ship them. So we worked on this gun. We got it shooting really well. It's ready for shipment now. So some of you guys, you know, you guys are calling me and you have the Scouts and you're ready to go with them. You can mail them in and I'll do the Scouts. You know, we're using the Hankins breech plugs. But you know, I'll bore the barrel out, thread it, put in the breech plug, test it, and then I'll give you the best loads that work, and I'll give you a drop chart on what to use. Some people they have the Scout, or they have a rough time finding it. So you can buy the Scout through me, and we can do that too. Now remember, with the Scout, it's FFL paperwork is involved, so I got to mail it to your FFL. Now if you guys have the Scout, you can mail it to me because I'm an FFL. You don't have to go through an FFL to mail it to me, and I can mail it right back to you. But either way, if you guys got the Scout, mail them in. If you want me to supply the Scout, we'll be happy to supply it. Turnaround time's pretty quick. You know, we're getting them back to you within a couple weeks. Now, some of you guys are asking me about other single actions. The Scout, to me, seems to be the superior single action. It's at a really great price point. And the other thing is they're good barrels. I mean, they're just solid barrels. Just about every one that we get, you know, within the first shooting, it's an inch group or better. That one that, you know, that you saw the video of earlier where it didn't do an inch, we took it in, tweaked it a little bit, and we got it just a little bit over a 1/2 inch right now. So that's the Scout barrels are inherently accurate. It's just a good setup. So there's other single actions. You know, some guys ask me, can you do the Henrys? Can you do H&Rs? Can you know, they got all kinds. The Traditions. Yeah, we can do those, but I don't think you're going to get these kind of groups that you're getting out of the Scout. So I'm happy to do the other ones for you, but I can guarantee that you're going to get this kind of accuracy out of a Scout. I do the best I can with one of the others, but I've done some of the others, and they don't shoot like the Scout. And the Scout is a good entry level. When I say entry level, I'm not saying that it's cheap, but it's way less expensive than going with converting, say, a Remington 700, or you know, because you got the price of the 700, or converting the Paramount, or a build from scratch. So if you guys want to get your foot in the door for $1,000 or so into smokeless muzzleloading, I think for the money you can't beat the Scout. So we'd be happy to do this for you. give us a call at 336-655-7631, and I'll be happy to talk to you. Thanks.